Especially when they were young, many spiritual intuitives have had encounters with spiritual beings such as loved ones who have passed over to ghosts or spirit entities and guides. Spiritual intuitives are often able to see and communicate with the spiritual realms in a natural, matter-of-fact way. Spiritual intuitives are likely to be attracted to energy work such as Reiki and healing touch. They also enjoy toning, chanting, and deep trance work. Because they work well with others, you will often find spiritual intuitives in groups. They take naturally to community, tend not to be ego-centered, and they often seek out spiritual teachers and leaders. Unless they find this community and a sense of belonging in the world, they can become lonely and lost. Spiritual intuitives do not naturally bond with the physical. They need to seek out an identity and a purpose to give meaning to their lives. This means spiritual intuitives can have a difficult time using their intuitive gifts in the world, in the here and now. Many spiritual intuitives will tell me that they do not know why they're here on Earth. Some told me that they feel as if there has been a cosmic mistake. They feel they belong in the beyond, peacefully soaring the cosmic currents. Janice has devoted most of her life to spiritual pursuits. She can spend hours immersed in celestial pasture. She loves to tone, to chant, and meditate, to spend hours with her spiritual friends and spiritual workshops and classes. She enjoys helping others through quiet meditation, and she feels as if she's connected and receives intuitive energy that can uplift them. She's often frustrated, though, when it comes time to share what she has experienced, for she has very little she can verbally express. Remember, this is the marathon, dude. Shannon Wise. She sees clearly, mostly purple and gold. She remembers sparkles of streaks of light. Jeff Cochell, we got the coconut cabaret, we got Britney Spears on the pike, dude. The journey of spiritual intuitives is of light and freedom. They are learning to live in the midst of duality with the awareness of oneness and non-being. Unwatched and then unnumbered, their home is beyond the skies. They are here in the physical world as visitors. More than any type of intuitive, spiritual intuitives are able to live in the present. They have a natural tendency for spontaneity and can quickly immerse themselves in the experience of bliss, ecstasy, and pleasure. They often do not have a planned agenda, goal, or destination, but are here to experience what is. Not the what of this world, but the what of eternal truth. Unfortunately, spiritual intuitives can have difficulty managing daily life. Because they are attuned to know time and live primarily in the present, they can have trouble with the more routine aspects of life, such as paying bills, showing up time, and keeping track of paperwork. Merriment typifies meaning and mystery and patterns and trends. The spiritual intuitive may rebel, feeling stricter and limited by the probable. Spiritual intuitives want freedom and openness. They want to be able to shift, to change like chameleons. They are not attached to form in any kind. To be spiritually intuitive, what you see is temporary and you will get ready. Reality is without form. Psychic gifts. Spiritual intuitives often have rich dream lives. And in the dreams, they travel to distant locations, communicate with those who have departed the physical world, or visit mystical realms. Because their spirit frequently rises into the etheric currents, they are likely to have precognitive dreams and visions, which they might not always be able to understand. They're also likely to enjoy astral travel, which is the ability to send the consciousness and soul outside of the physical body to distant places, dude. Emotional intuitive is drawn into the world to heal, help, and love. A mental intuitive desires to figure out systems and understand how, when, and why things occur. A physical intuitive is at home in the world. Spiritual intuitives, however, often not have a strong drive to connect with the world. Might even be inclined to find ways to escape it through alcohol, drugs, or other addictions. With long periods of fasting, meditation, or spiritual pilgrimage also appeals to them. Like all types, spiritual intuitives do have a mission, a purpose for being in the physical. They can have the hardest time finding out what the mission or purpose is. Spiritual energy can be elusive, intense, and seductive. At times, the spiritual intuitives rather reside in the higher realms. Many spiritual intuitives find a sense of peace and connection through their writing, channeling, working with sound and spiritual healing. To Emily, wherever she art thou, they can bring us to the gift of higher vibrations. Their experience of spiritual energy can be light, warm, and energizing. Bringing this high vibration into the physical can be exhausting work. This is one reason why spiritual intuitives can have difficulty in grounding their gifts and natural talents. The body of the spiritual intuitive. Because spiritual intuitives access intuition more outside the physical body than other types, they can experience elevated states of ecstasy and bliss, only to plunge into deep despair and indifference. They can also suffer from headaches, dizziness, and a lack of physical vitality. And if they do not establish a meaningful connection with the physical world, they can become depressed or apathetic because they intuit through their higher chakras. Their seventh and higher chakras are developed. Their challenge is to pace themselves and live in the world of matter. Yeah, spiritual intuitives rock, man. Yeah, rock on, David SX, spiritual intuitives, Sherry Door. Sheesh, wow, dude, wow. Hey, you, man. You little chicken diddle, why don't you just cross that road, man? Yeah, chicken diddle. Look, looks like you're in the middle of the road. Yeah, Jude. Yeah. Get him, chicken diddle. You cross that road, you get that little chicken diddle and you play the moonshot, baby. Baby. Baby, the moonshot, baby. Yeah. Edgar Cayce. Edgar Cayce was an extraordinary spiritually intuitive. Although he died over 60 years ago, his advice, wisdom, and guidance that he gave to others documented in thousands of psychic readings still to this day influences the study of metaphysics, psychic phenomena, soul development, and knowledge of health and well-being, and an understanding of the world we live in. What's Alicia Rhodes? Cayce has been called a mystic and seer, and he is often thought of as the best documented psychic of all time. Might committed suicide. For over 4 years, by simply lying down and closing his eyes, he was able to put himself into a self-induced hypnotic state, which he was able to access information, wisdom, and guidance that transcended the limitations of time and space. From this relaxed state, he responded to questions from people all over the world. His breadth and range of wisdom and insight was limitless. He answered all types of questions from how can I heal my son from leukemia to what is the meaning of life or how did civilization begin. Edward Cayce was born in a farm in Kentucky in 1877 into a strict Christian modern family of modest means. Stacy Sarah, Kentucky brain due to Elvis. Calling Elvis. He sought to make his living as a photographer. In his mid-20s, he discovered his unusual physical talent. Trina is a lovely soul. She dreams of faraway places and supernaturals, and she has visions of past and future events. Easily immersed in her experience, she spends time each day writing down her dreams and other psychic impressions. Most of her time has passed in spirit. She feels them close to her and communicates daily with the spiritual world. Trina is a spiritual intuitive. Unlike physical, mental, and emotional intuitive, she is more attuned to non-physical energy than the energy of others or her environment. She can become so overwhelmed with energy at times that it's difficult for her to make sense of what is happening to her. She can also have difficulty getting her needs met in the physical world. Her biggest struggles are finding her place, her home, in the here and now. While she is very talented, she has not had steady work in a long time, and she's worried about her financial situation. She has a difficult time understanding how something like a job and a schedule can ever fulfill her. While she longs to be in an intimate relationship, she also longs to be in the bliss of pure spirit and spends as much time as possible there. Her challenge is to ground herself. She has to learn to live in the routine of day-to-day life. Highly spiritual people such as Karina can suffer greatly if they do not learn to balance the spiritual world with the physical. But many do not want to do this because it's not much fun. Learning moderation is not very exciting work, especially if you can be soul traveling or visiting higher vibrational frequencies. This is sad because sad people, have so much to teach us. They come to us as teachers, guys who can, better than others, show us the reality of other worlds. Their wisdom is immeasurable, but before spiritual tutors can manifest their gifts in the physical world, they must be able to see value in the mundane. Karina would have loved to have a meaningful job. She has taken many classes in all kinds of subjects. She has started and left college a few times.